Mark's watching for Making the Cut here with three-time Atlantic 10 All-Conference Grant Golden. How you doing today, Grant?
Good, not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. So since you've arrived at Richmond, just from your freshman year all the way up to your junior year, you've somehow made it to an Atlantic 10 All-Conference team. Just kind of talk about your development from your freshman year up to your junior year.
Yeah, I think because of we had two really good guys, TJ Klein and Chandre Jones, my freshman year, the year that I medical redshirted and didn't end up playing. And then after we lost those guys coming into my redshirt freshman year, we didn't have a lot coming back. We were really young, and those first 2 years were tough because we were really young. But I think it sort of threw some of us guys like me and Jacob into a position where there was a lot on us, which at the time wasn't good. Obviously, you want experience out there, but it made us learn a lot, and I think that's sort of how it's really helped our development and helped get to the point where we're at today. So obviously having a lot on us has helped us, and just having those responsibilities early on has really allowed us to sort of manifest into the players that we are today.
So, in today's basketball, we see a lot of bigs, post guys, a lot of positions offense. So a lot of stretching out to the three-point line, stretching out there by the bigs. But you have a really, really good back to the basket game. What are some of the things you work on to keep almost like those old school skills that make you so effective down there in the block area?
Yeah, that's obviously sort of the focal point of my game, and it's something that I have highly valued. And I think, being in Richmond's Princeton Offense and having to be on the perimeter so much and sort of making plays out there, you would think that we would tend to fade away from that a little bit. But that's something that our coaches have been, obviously emphasized since I got on campus. Obviously being 6'10" and everything, I have a lot of size advantage on a lot of guys. So that's really important, and that's something that I work on, and hopefully trying to advance that this summer and take even more moves and counters and stuff like that going into next season.
Yeah, so when I've watched you play, and I've had the privilege of covering a few of your games, I noticed how really, really good your footwork is. Your footwork doesn't start when you catch the ball. Your footwork actually starts before you even receive the ball. For the younger guys out there who have this lack of a back to the basket game, what are some of the things you do with your feet to get prepared to get the ball in the post to use your moves?
I think the biggest thing is just position early on. Sort of being able to read where the ball is going to get swung to and realizing when your opportunities are going to come and making sure that you're in position, a good position in terms of catching the ball and getting it where you want, and just being able to feel your defender out and sort of maneuver your way to where you want to catch the ball rather than letting them dictate where you catch the ball. So I would say that's the biggest thing, just anticipation and sort of realizing where the ball's sort of moving and how you can get to the spots you want to get to.
So speaking of the ball movement and spots and positioning, you're also a very, very good rebounder. And I know a lot of coaches, and even I do this sometimes, and I hate it when I do this. We want to make rebounding into nothing but effort. And yes, effort is a key. But what are some of the skill sets that you work on to be in the right positions to be such a good rebounder?
Yeah, I think especially for me, obviously not being the most athletic guy and really having to use technique to get some of the rebounds that I grab. The biggest thing is obviously just boxing out, being able to find guys and sort of read how the ball is going to come off the rim, knowing, if a guy shoots a shot from a certain corner, what's most likely, which side of the rim it's most likely supposed to come off of. Just sort of being able to read some of those things and know some of the things. And the biggest thing is just boxing out, making sure you put a body on someone and try and push them out as far as you can. Like I said, especially for us less athletic guys, that's the biggest thing for sure.
So we're almost from the same parts of Virginia. I know that you're more towards, I believe it's like Winchester. I'm actually from Fauquier County, so I'm not
Okay.
that far from Winchester. There are so many Atlantic 10 teams kind of within stone's throw of us, whether it's VCU, University of Richmond, GW, George Mason. What was it that sold you on the University of Richmond?
When it came down to making my final decision, one of the biggest things was, finding the highest level of possible basketball, meeting with the highest level of education. And I thought Richmond offered that. Obviously, the education at Richmond is huge and very highly, highly valued. So that was an important thing for me. And I think outside of that, just the coaching staff, meeting with them. I think the biggest thing that they had with me was honesty. When you go through the recruiting process, a lot of people sort of lie to you and just tell you what you want to hear to try and get you to come to their school, and that just wasn't the case with them at all. Like I said, TJ Klein, who won A-10 Player of the Year my freshman year, was ahead of me, and they told me straight up coming in that he was going to play, and that's just how it was going to be, and I was going to have the opportunity to fight for time. But that was just what it was, and I think that honesty that they had with me and sort of telling me what my situation was going to be is what really attracted me to them.
So you brought up earlier the Princeton offense, and that seems to always be a catch-all phrase. And there's so many misnomers about Princeton offense. People think that Princeton offense means you hold the ball and all those type of things. What are some of the things that you like about the offensive structure being run at Richmond that makes you successful?
Yeah, sort of like I said, in the Princeton offense, 1 through 5 has to be able to catch the ball on the perimeter, make plays, make decisions, have to be really good passers. So those are all things that we value. And like you said, in the Princeton, you need all 1 through 5 of guys being able to do those things. And obviously, that's something that I valued in high school, the ability to pass and make plays for other people. So that's something that attracted me to it. And then I think the biggest thing with Coach Mooney and the way he runs it, like you said, sort of slow. Usually people sort of think you just walk the ball up and sort of do your thing. That's not really how we do or how we do things. We have Jacob Gilliard, who I consider to be one of the best point guards in the country, really pushing the ball up the floor for us. And we do a pretty good job of getting out in transition. And we, if somebody stops us and we have to set up in the half court, we're confident in our offense and the guys and weapons that we have, and we're comfortable in that situation. But we do a good balance of both, and I think that's what really makes us unique in terms of running that offense.
So defensively, just when you're on defense, like I said, we talked about bigs kind of stretching out. When you have to guard on the perimeter, do you find that as being an issue for you? Do you think that your footwork is good enough to keep up with those type of guys? How does that work for you when you're on the defensive end?
Yeah, I think it had definitely been a huge struggle for me in past years. I think as a team, we made obviously huge strides in defense this year. And I think individually, I got really better defensively going into this year. There are very few guys in our league and guys that we played that are sort of out there on the perimeter. But the few that are, obviously it's a challenge. But I think I did a pretty good job this year. And like you said, I think my footwork and speed for my size helps with that a little bit. But that's a huge testament to my teammates as well. Like I said, I think as a team, we improved tremendously this year on defense, and knowing that those guys are behind me and helping me, it obviously makes me more confident on the ball when I have to guard out there.
So you're not the only Golden playing Division I basketball right now. Bryce is at Butler. Can you just describe, we always make siblings out to be, we fought the whole time that we grew up and da-da-da-da-da. Can you talk about sort of what made you guys competing with each other and against each other? What made you better basketball players out of that?
I think the biggest thing is just accountability. When you're younger, especially, you don't really understand what it takes and what it takes to be a college basketball player, everything that goes into it. And I think just having someone with you every day, a sibling that has that same goal in mind, it just makes that process a lot easier. When you wake up and you don't feel like working out or going and lifting and stuff, but he's picking you up or I'm picking him up, and making him go do those kind of things and just sort of pushing each other. I think that's the biggest thing, just having that person that's holding you accountable no matter what every day when you wake up.
During the season, did you get to talk to him much?
Yeah, we talked I want to say almost every day in some way, shape, or form. And I tried to make sure I get on FaceTime with him once or twice a week. So we talked a good amount.
Is there a part of your game that he wishes you had, and a part of his game that you wish you had?
I definitely would take his some of his defensive abilities from him. Just his ability to sort of step in, take charges, see some of those things. I think he's really good out there hedging on ball screens and stuff. Just a lot of things defensively that he does with his athleticism, which is something that I don't have. But I would definitely take some of those things. And for him, I think he's always been appreciative of my ability to pass the ball for my size. And he's a really good passer too. Obviously they run a different system, so he doesn't get as many opportunities to sort of facilitate offense. But I think that's something he admires about my game and something that he wishes he had for sure.
So this is a question I ask everyone, and you can feel free not to answer this question. From high school on, who is the toughest guy you ever played against?
Toughest guy, I want to say in high school, it was what was his name? I want to say his last name was Godwin. He started for Xavier this year in the last year. I forget his first name.
Yes.
We played him in a tournament, Christmas tournament, I believe, in Bristol, Tennessee. And he gave us a smooth 27. We came out with the win, but just his scoring ability and his ability to score at all levels was really impressive. In terms of college, I would say before I medical redshirted my freshman year, we played against John Collins at Wake Forest. He was obviously really talented, really good. And then either him or Jesse Govan from Georgetown. Just his skill around the basket and his ability to stretch out and hit the three. He was a tough guard for sure.
And my last question is, what is your favorite place down at the University of Richmond or in that area to go out to eat?
To go out to eat, there's a little place on Patterson Avenue about 5 minutes from campus called The Grill. Nice little spot. Lots of people from the university go in there. Good little brunch and everything. It's a hot spot for us guys on campus.
Awesome. Hey man, thanks for taking time out of your day to join me and stuff. I really, really appreciate it. I always, whenever I'm covering University of Richmond, I always enjoy watching you guys play, and you in particular. So keep up the good work, and I'll definitely see you around.
Definitely sounds good. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, my man.